Made by NN Fanfiction Chapter 7, Logtown, the town of beginnings and endings. The salty breeze carried across the deck as Kai leaned against the railing, staring out at the endless blue. Nami was at the helm, her orange hair catching the light, eyes sharp on the compass she had just polished. "Logtown," she said finally, her voice carrying an edge of anticipation. The town where the Pirate King was executed, and the last stop before the Grand Line. Kai smirked. "Sounds like the perfect place to make a name for ourselves." Nami shot him a look, half irritated, half amused. "We already have a bounty thanks to you picking fights with Marines. The smarter play would be to keep our heads down and quietly stock up." Kai crossed his arms. "You think we can just sneak through the town where legends are made? No. If I want the world to remember me, it starts here." Nami sighed. She knew she wouldn't win this argument, not when his amber eyes burned with determination. Arrival at Logtown. The port was bustling when they docked. Merchants called out deals, Marines patrolled the streets and wanted posters fluttered in the sea breeze. Kai spotted his own face pasted on a wall, his first bounty, fresh ink, the paper still crisp. He tore it down and grinned. "Looks better in person," he joked, folding it and slipping it into his coat. "Cocky," Nami muttered, "just don't get us killed." As they wandered deeper into town, the mood shifted. This was the place where Gul D. Roger had met his end. The air itself seemed charged, as if every pirate who stepped foot here carried both dreams and the shadow of death. Smoker appears. It wasn't long before trouble found them. A commotion broke out in the market as Marines chased a group of petty thieves. Among them stood a tall figure in a long white coat, twin cigars clenched between his teeth. Smoke curled around him, blending with the air. "Captain Smoker," Nami whispered, eyes wide. "The White Hunter, he's stationed here." Kai's grin widened. "Perfect." Nami grabbed his arm. "Are you insane? That man's famous for capturing pirates alive. We should." But it was too late. Smoker's sharp eyes had already locked on Kai. The poster he held in one hand matched the man standing before him. "Well, well," Smoker said, his voice a low rumble. "Kai, the rookie making waves in East Blue. I was going to chase Straw Hat, but you'll do just fine." Clash in the streets. The square cleared in an instant as Marines raised their rifles. Smoker cracked his knuckles, smoke curling from his body. Kai stepped forward, unflinching. His system pulsed within him, and he called upon one of the anime-inspired powers it had given him so far, a burst of speed enhancement from the Asterisk Hunter X Hunter. 10. Ability, strengthening his aura and body just enough to dodge faster. Smoker lunged, his body dissolving into smoke, striking with his jut tipped with seastone. Kai twisted aside, narrowly dodging. The force of the blow cracked the cobblestones where he had stood. Fast, Smoker admitted, exhaling smoke, but not enough. Kai countered with a surge of aura, his fists glowing faintly as he slammed into Smoker's midsection. The man staggered slightly, a surprise, given his Logia powers. The crowd gasped. A rookie had landed a blow on Smoker. Nami, hiding behind a stall, whispered fiercely, "Idiot, do you want the entire Marine base to hunt us down?" The narrow escape. The fight raged for minutes, neither giving ground. Smoker's smoke wrapped around Kai like chains, but Kai used a burst of system-enhanced agility to slip free. Still, every close call reminded him, this was no ordinary Marine. If Smoker landed a clean hit with that jut, it would be over. Finally, with Marines flooding the square, Nami shouted, "Kai, we have to go." Kai clicked his tongue. He hated retreating, but he knew she was right. He threw a final punch, creating a shockwave that kicked up dust and debris. Smoke billowed, shrouding the square. By the time it cleared, Smoker stood alone, cigar burning low, his teeth clenched. "That brat," he muttered. "He's no ordinary rookie." A new bounty. Back on their ship, Nami paced furiously. Do you ever think about the consequences of your actions? Smoker will be hunting us now. Do you even realize how insane that was? Kai lounged against the mast, smiling. The world won't remember the pirates who hid in the shadows. If Smoker knows my name now, so does everyone else. The next morning the proof arrived. A fresh bounty poster fluttered onto their deck, carried by the wind. Kai 35 million berries. Nami picked it up, staring at the number. It was far higher than she expected. You've officially become one of the most wanted men in East Blue. Kai grinned, eyes fixed on the horizon. Good. Now let's see if the Grand Line is ready for us. End of Chapter 7. Chapter 8, Into the Grand Line. The sun was rising over the horizon when Kai adjusted the sails, the salty wind whipping through his hair. Nami leaned against the railing, map in hand, her brow furrowed. East Blue is behind us, she said softly. From here on out it only gets harder. The Grand Line isn't a playground, Kai. It's where pirates go to die. Kai smirked, eyes fixed on the horizon, or where legends are born. Nami rolled her eyes, though she couldn't hide the faint smile tugging at her lips. You're impossible. The reverse mountain. The seas grew rougher as they approached. Walls of towering waves loomed around them, and the current pulled like a beast. Before them rose the massive wall of stone, Reverse Mountain, one of the entrances to the Grand Line. Nami's voice was steady despite the storm. This current will drag us up the mountain. If we don't keep control, we'll smash into the rocks before we ever reach the Grand Line. Kai took the helm, muscles straining as the ship surged upward. The water roared like thunder spraying into the air. His heart pounded not with fear but exhilaration. This was it. Hold on, he shouted. The ship shot up the mountain's watery slope, racing against death itself. For a moment, it felt like they were flying. Then, with a deafening crash, the ship hurtled down the other side, straight into the Grand Line. Laboon, the giant whale. The sea was calmer, until a massive shadow rose beneath them. The water erupted as an asterisk whale the size of an island surfaced, blocking their path. Nami's eyes widened. Laboon. The whale's massive head loomed over their ship, scars covering its body. It let out a mournful cry that shook the seas. Kai steadied himself, staring at the creature. He'd heard the stories, the whale waiting decades for the return of a crew that promised to come back. But now Laboon slammed against their ship, sending waves crashing. Kai clenched his fists. He's not attacking us out of malice, he's in pain. A different meeting. Instead of firing cannonballs like Luffy once did, Kai leapt onto the whale's head, his aura flaring. He shouted up at Laboon. You're not alone anymore. If you're waiting for someone, then I'll fight you not to hurt you, but to prove I won't break my promise either. Laboon paused, massive eyes watching the tiny human standing defiantly. With a roar the whale lunged, testing Kai's resolve. The clash was brief but intense, Kai dodging swipes of Laboon's head, striking with bursts of aura, refusing to fall. Finally, Laboon let out a low, rumbling cry and stopped, as if acknowledging his strength. Kai placed a hand on the whale's scarred head. I don't know if your friends will return, but until then we'll sail forward carrying our own promises. Laboon's cry echoed across the sea, not of sorrow this time but hope. A new ally. Back on deck, Nami exhaled in relief. You really are insane. You fought a whale with your bare hands. Kai grinned and made a friend. Laboon swam alongside their ship for a while, guiding them toward the next stretch of the Grand Line. Nami glanced at Kai, a strange look in her eyes, somewhere between admiration and frustration. You really are going to make waves in this world, she muttered. Next destination, Whiskey Peak. As they sailed deeper into the Grand Line, a town appeared on the horizon, its spires and rooftops glittering in the sun. Nami squinted. Whiskey Peak, Supposed to be a town that welcomes pirates, though something tells me it's not that simple. Kai's smile turned sharp. Good, let's see what kind of welcome we get. The Grand Line had only just begun, and already Kai's journey was diverging from the familiar. His bounty was rising, his reputation spreading, and the seas themselves seemed to challenge his every step. But Kai wouldn't back down, not now. Not when destiny was calling. End of Chapter 9. Reborn in one piece with anime essence system. Made NN fanfiction. Chapter 9 Whiskey Peak, a town of hunters. The salty wind carried their ship toward the glittering coastline of Whiskey Peak. From the deck, Kai leaned against the mast, studying the festive-looking town. Music drifted faintly across the waves, and banners fluttered in the breeze. Nami's eyes narrowed. This doesn't sit right. A whole town that welcomes pirates, that's not normal. Kai smirked. Maybe they just know greatness when they see it. Nami groaned. Or maybe it's a trap. Still, when they docked, the people of Whiskey Peak greeted them with cheers, food, and music. The mayor, a large, round man with a booming laugh, welcomed them warmly. Pirates are always welcome here, he declared. Feast, drink, and rest to your heart's content. Kai exchanged a look with Nami. She frowned, but the smell of roasted meat and the sound of laughter was enough to draw them into the celebration. The celebration. The town came alive that night. Torches lit the streets, music played, and wine flowed freely. Kai found himself surrounded by laughing villagers, mugs clinking, food piling on his plate. You'd think we were heroes, not pirates, Kai muttered, half amused, half suspicious. Nami, sipping from a cup of juice, whispered back, "This is too much, be careful." Still, she couldn't help tapping her foot to the rhythm of the music. As the night deepened, one by one, the villagers excused themselves from the feast. The cheerful atmosphere dimmed, shadows stretching long across the square. Kai stood, eyes sharp. Showtime, huh? The reveal. The laughter was gone. The people of Whiskey Peak returned, not with food and wine, but with blades, rifles, and crossbows. The mayor stepped forward, his smile replaced with a predator's grin. "Welcome to Whiskey Peak," he said, voice cold. "We're the bounty hunters of Baroque works, and you two are worth a fortune." Dozens of hunters closed in, weapons gleaming in the torchlight. Nami paled. Baroque works. Kai's lips curved into a dangerous grin. Finally, some honesty. The battle. The first wave of hunters rushed him. Kai moved like lightning, his system-enhanced aura giving his strikes weight and precision. He weaved between blades, fists cracking jaws, kicks sending men sprawling. One hunter aimed a rifle at his back, but Nami cracked her staff across his skull, dropping him instantly. She cursed under her breath. "I told you this was a trap." Kai grinned over his shoulder. "Good thing I like traps." The square erupted in chaos. Hunters poured from the shadows, shouting and firing. Kai countered with bursts of speed and strength, each blow sending enemies flying. His aura flared brighter as he fought, his control over the system's gifts deepening with each strike. Nami fought with sharp precision, her staff striking pressure points and knees, keeping enemies off balance. A surprising duel. As the hunters regrouped, a single figure stepped forward, tall, lean, with twin curved blades strapped across his back. His eyes gleamed with calculation. "You're not like the other rookies," the swordsman said, drawing his blades. "Name, Rorik. I don't work for Baroque works, but I like testing myself against strong pirates." Kai cracked his knuckles. "Rorik, huh, fine, let's dance." Their duel blazed across the square. Sparks flew as Rorik's blades clashed with Kai's aura-charged fists. Rorik's movements were sharp and practiced, clearly a warrior of skill. But Kai matched him blow for blow, pushing him back with raw force and unpredictable strikes. Finally, with a crushing hook, Kai knocked the swordsman sprawling into the dirt. Breathing hard, Rorik laughed instead of groaning. "Not bad. Stronger than I expected, stronger than most. A new ally. The hunters lay scattered and unconscious, their weapons broken. The mayor had fled in terror, the Baroque works cell shattered. Nami rubbed her temples. Do you realize what we've done? Baroque works doesn't forget enemies. Kai shrugged. Then we'll give them more reasons to remember. Rorik pushed himself up, sheathing his blades. He smirked at Kai. I lost fair and square, but I like your spirit. If you'll have me, I'd join your crew. Nami raised an eyebrow. You're just going to trust a random swordsman who tried to kill us. Kai grinned, extending a hand. Every crew needs a good blade. Welcome aboard, Rorik. Rorik clasped his hand firmly. Then let's shake the grand line together. The rising tide. As dawn broke, their ship sailed away from Whiskey Peak with 3 aboard, Kai, Nami, and Rorik. The grand line stretched before them, full of danger and promise. Back on the island, battered bounty hunters sent urgent messages. Word spread fast, not just about Straw Hat Luffy, but another rookie pirate tearing through East Blue and now the Grand Line. The world government took notice. And somewhere in the shadows, Baroque works marked Kai's